Okay, we're going to start today's practice seated on your mat. Find a comfortable seat and just start to focus on your breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Big inhale, fill your lungs up. And exhale. You can close your eyes if you want to. Breathe in and exhale. Bring your arms up, reaching towards the sky and hands to heart. On an inhale, reach your arms up again, pushing your fingertips together, creating a little bit of friction. Reaching up again on an inhale. Push your fingertips and palms together, hands to heart on an exhale. Reach up again and exhale. Interlace your fingers behind your back here. Open up your chest, look up towards the ceiling, and just bend forward. Getting a really nice stretch here. Back up to seated, opening the chest, looking up towards the ceiling, and bending forward. This is a great chest opener. Reaching up, bending forward, starting to get some energy moving into the body here. Sit up, look towards the ceiling, and release those hands. Plant one hand down on the ground and reach up. Nice side body stretch here. Plant the other hand. Just start to move with your breath. Just windmilling the hands back and forth here. Starting to move some energy flowing into your body as you move your hands back and forth. Connecting with your breath. And one more time. Back to a neutral position. And then we're going to take it on your belly here, into a little baby cobra. Up into a baby cobra and back down. Pushing your fingertips into the earth and feeling a little bit of a bend in your back. And after you've done that a couple of times, maybe you can bring it up a little bit higher the next time. Push it up, looking up towards the ceiling, and getting a nice bend in the back. Just flowing with your breath here. And going to come back into a tabletop position and then push your legs back and come into a child's pose. Head down onto the mat here and reach your fingertips out. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat and place your left hand on top of your right hand and head down, getting a nice side body stretch here in your child's pose. Walk your hands to the center and then over to the other side of the mat. Right hand on top of left, same thing. And back to center. Come into a tabletop position and then just sort of flowing back and forth here with your breath back into a child's pose. Then pushing your body forward into tabletop and back. Just creating some energy here. Some prana. Moving with your breath. And creating a little flow. And again, we're going to come down onto our bellies here. Stretch out your hand and step your foot over, reaching your other hand up to the sky, getting a shoulder stretch. We're Going to repeat that on the other side, stretching out your arm, stepping your foot over, and reaching up towards the sky. If that feels a little too intense, you don't need to reach up to the sky. Back to your tummy. Coming up into tabletop position. Straighten out your legs and come into a plank. In a plank, we really want to have everything in line. Drop down to your belly, coming up into a cobra. Curling your toes, pushing up into plank again. And dropping down, coming up into cobra. Back down. And pushing back up into plank. Your body should be a nice straight line in plank. Nice tight core. Back up into cobra. Might be starting to feel a little bit of heat now in your body. Push it all the way back into downward facing dog. You can start to pedal your feet out here, loosening everything up, hips up to the sky. Take whatever movement feels good here. Bending your knees maybe, and pushing your hips towards the sky. And releasing. Bending and releasing. You continue pedaling if that feels good. Just playing around in this downward facing dog. Now we're going to take a 3-legged dog, step the leg through, and place the back leg down on the ground, reaching up into a half crescent. And dropping one hand down, the other hand up towards the sky, into a little spinal twist here. Place your hands down on either side of your foot, step it back to plank, drop it down to cobra, and then we're going to take it up into a downward facing dog, pressing those hips up to the sky. 3-legged dog again, step your foot through, drop that back leg, and coming up into cobra again. Gaze is up in between your hands. And maybe you have a little smile here. Drop that hand down, reach your opposite hand up, and gaze up towards your raised hand. Nice spinal twist here. Hand down on opposite side of your foot, plank. Take it down to cobra, or push it up into cobra, and then back into a child's pose. Taking a nice cleansing breath here. Coming back into that tabletop, then we're going to move into a cat-cow, moving with your breath here. Bending everything in, squeezing, contracting your tummy, and on an exhale, pushing everything out and looking up towards the sky. Squeeze it in, push it out, moving with your breath. Maybe getting some organic moves here, moving from side to side, loosening up your hips. And we're going to take it back again into downward facing dog. 3-legged dog. Step that foot through and come to the top of your mat. Forward fold here. And reaching up, root to rise, and hands to heart. Taking a mountain pose here, reconnecting with your breath. Take some nice, big, cleansing breaths here in mountain pose. And maybe right now is a good time to set an intention for this practice. Reaching up nice and high to the sky, and take your hands to heart, bending over into a forward fold. Halfway lift, nice flat back, forward fold. Reaching up, root to rise, hands to heart. and forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold again, and reaching up and hands to heart. We're going to do a crane pose here, lifting one of your legs up with your hands at the same time, moving with your breath, flowing. Each time you inhale, you lift that knee up and your arms. Now we're going to take it back into an airplane and bring it back. Again, flowing with your breath. Step one leg back. If you're a little wobbly, that's okay. Try to move with your breath. If you need to touch your toe down in between to gain your balance, that's fine. Keeping your core tight here, that should help you a little bit. Now we're going to put two moves together. Crane into the airplane. Flowing here. If you can do this as one fluid movement, that's great. If you need to touch the toe down in between, that's okay. Moving with your breath. Step it back into warrior two. Nice strong arms here. Bending that front knee. Reaching back into peaceful warrior. Straightening that front leg, hinging at the hips, and taking it down into triangle pose. You can hold your ankle or put your hand down onto the mat and gazing up towards your lifted arm here. Little spinal twist. Back up to warrior two. Step to the front of your mat and we're going to do a forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold again. Root to rise. Maybe have a little smile here, hands to heart. Forward fold again. Halfway lift. And back down for that fold, reaching up, connecting with your breath, and hands to heart. We're going to take that crane pose on the opposite side here. Starting to move with your breath. Get some natural movement here. Reaching those hands up and your knee up on the inhale. Exhale, take it down, and we're going to step it back now, reaching that leg back into the airplane. Moving with your breath, keeping your core tight will help you with balance. Oh, and if you get a little wobbly, that's okay. Now we're going to put the two moves together, reaching it back, and then stepping it through into crane, moving with your breath here. Stepping it through into warrior two, rotating on that back leg. Nice strong arms, connecting with your breath. Peaceful warrior. Back to warrior two, straighten that front leg, pop that hip a little bit and take it down into triangle pose. You can hold on to your shin or take it all the way down to the floor. Gazing up towards that raised arm. Back up into warrior two, step to the front of your mat. You're going to take it down onto the floor here. Slowly make your way down to your mat. Hug your knees in. Maybe gently rock from side to side. Give your little lower back a massage. Hands out to your sides. Drop your knees down to one side and your gaze to the opposite side. This is a great little spinal twist here. Back to center. Drop the knees to the opposite side and gaze to the other side. Spinal twists are really great for anxiety, decreasing anxiety. They also help with digestion. And we're going to take it back to center. You can place your heels down on the floor. We're going to plant the heels and push up, engaging your core into a bridge pose here. Feel free to interlace your fingers underneath and squeezing your shoulder blades together to open up the chest and get a little more intensity. You can release that. We're going to repeat that again, squeezing up, squeezing your glutes, squeezing your core, interlacing those fingers to get a deeper stretch and more opening into your chest. Release that, bring it down again, and we're going to repeat that bridge again. If interlacing the fingers is too much, you don't have to do that. There's no right or wrong way to do yoga. You do what feels good for you. We're going to take that down. We're just going to do a little windshield wiper with the legs, stretching everything out here, moving them sort of organically back and forth, side to side here. We're going to take a happy baby pose. So feel free to have a big smile. You can grab a hold of your feet, but if that's too much for you, you can hold your ankles here as well. You can start to kind of move from side to side. Have a little fun with this pose. It's called happy baby for a reason. It's supposed to help generate some happiness and some joy. So play around with it. Maybe rotate the ankles a little bit here. Bring your feet together. We're going to rock and roll a few times here to come up to a seated position. There we go. That's kind of fun after happy baby. Come into a seated position. You can do a cross-legged spinal twist. Or if you want a little more intensity, you can cross your leg over, hug your leg into your body, and plant your opposite hand back and gaze over your opposite shoulder. Either way, you get a nice spinal twist here. You can release that. And again, you can do a spinal twist from the cross-legged position, or you can wrap your leg right around, hug that leg in, plant the hand behind, and gaze over your opposite shoulder. Keeping a nice tall spine here. And you can release that. You can take your feet wide on your mat here, opening up the groin, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. And you can just slowly walk your hands forward to get a nice little groin stretch here. Now we're going to hold on to one leg and sort of sway from side to side, getting a nice side body stretch, but also a groin stretch because you already have your legs open. Nice hip opener stretch. Also, this is great for the side body. And just starting to flow with your breath here. And we're going to come into a seated forward fold here. Take a nice tall spine, maybe adjust your seat. Reach up, toes pointed up towards the ceiling, and you're going to bend down. Maybe you come to your shins, maybe your ankles, maybe you can grab your feet. Reaching up towards the sky and then folding over once again. Big reach up, and on the exhale, down into a fold. We're going to come into a standing position, nice and wide on the mat. We're going to come into a goddess pose. So you're going to take a nice, almost like a squat like position, and reaching your arms up here, just feeling powerful, feeling like a goddess. And maybe that makes you smile. Going to push on your inner thighs here and just start to kind of move with your breath, stretching the side body here, stretching the shoulders, and back to that goddess pose. Feeling strong, feeling like a warrior. Hands down to the mat, straight legs, feeling a nice little stretch there. Coming down as far as you can. And we're going to take it back down onto our backs. Feet together here, nice hip opening stretch. One hand to your heart, maybe one hand to your belly. Feel free to close your eyes here and surrender. Connecting with your breath, deep breath in and exhale. Maybe taking a moment and thinking of one thing that you're grateful for today. And you can release that. Find a comfy spot on your mat, wiggling your feet, wiggling your shoulders. And we're going to come to a Shavasana now. Take the next few moments for yourself to breathe. Connecting with your breath, connecting with your authentic self. Taking this time for yourself today can really help generate self-compassion and love. Just breathe. When you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reach up overhead, biggest stretch you've taken all day. Point your toes, smile. Come over into the fetal position. Push yourself up to seated. Take a cross-legged position. Reach up, hands to heart, and namaste. Take care.